The hidden truth behind the "I'm better than you" attitude. The "I'm better than you" attitude often appears in small moments. Someone interrupts before another person finishes. They correct a harmless mistake in front of everyone. They turn someone else's achievement into a comparison. They make a joke that sounds clever but leaves the other person feeling smaller. From the outside, this behavior can look like confidence. In reality, it is often confidence built on comparison. The person may feel strong only when someone else looks weaker, less educated, less successful, less articulate, or less important. That kind of confidence is fragile because it needs another person to stand below it. Real confidence does not need someone else to feel small. It can stand on its own without turning every conversation into a ranking system. Why superiority can feel like confidence? Human beings compare. We compare progress, appearance, intelligence, money, status, confidence, relationships, jobs, accents, and social skills. Sometimes comparison helps us learn. Seeing someone do well can inspire us to practice, study, ask better questions, or take our own development more seriously. The problem begins when comparison stops being a mirror and becomes a weapon. Instead of thinking, "What can I learn from this person?" the mind starts thinking, "How can I prove I am above them?" That shift changes the entire tone of a conversation. The fragile confidence pattern is this: notice a difference, compare status, look for weakness, then feel temporarily higher. It can feel rewarding for a moment. Laughing at someone's grammar, showing off qualifications, correcting a colleague sharply, or mentioning salary at the perfect time may create a quick emotional lift. The person feels taller because someone else has been pushed lower. But the lift does not last, so the habit repeats. When every conversation becomes a competition, a competitive response can happen in friendships, families, workplaces, relationships, and online comments. It does not always sound aggressive. Sometimes it sounds polished, humorous, or knowledgeable. The effect is still the same. The other person leaves with less space than they had before. When a friend shares good news, your friend says they have been promoted. A less helpful response would be, "I became a manager when I was younger than you." A better response would be, "That's brilliant. You worked hard for that. How are you feeling about it?" The better response lets their good news stay theirs. It shows confidence because you do not need to compete with their moment. When a colleague suggests an idea, a colleague shares a possible solution in a meeting, a less helpful response would be, "That will not work. I have already thought about this." A better response would be, "Interesting. Walk us through how you see it working." The better response keeps the room open. You can still evaluate the idea, but you do not close the person down before they explain. When someone is learning something new, a family member says they are learning Italian. A less helpful response would be, "I learned Spanish in half the time." A better response would be, "What made you choose Italian?" The better response creates interest. It turns the conversation toward the other person instead of turning their progress into a scoreboard. And your partner has had a stressful day. Someone close to you says they feel overwhelmed. A less helpful response would be, "You think that is stressful?" A better response would be, "Do you want to talk about it?" The better response gives care before comparison. Support does not become weaker because your own day was difficult too. The hidden cost: people stop sharing. The damage is not always dramatic. People may not argue, complain, or announce that they are hurt. They may simply become quieter. A friend stops mentioning exciting news. A colleague stops offering ideas in meetings. A partner shares their worries with someone else. A family member smiles politely and changes the subject. This is why superiority can be difficult to notice in yourself. You may think you are winning conversations because nobody challenges you, but sometimes silence is not agreement. Sometimes silence means people have decided it is easier not to give you anything personal to respond to. You can win the moment and lose the invitation to future conversations. Real confidence sounds different. Real confidence is not weak, passive, or silent. It can disagree. It can correct misinformation. It can make decisions, set standards, and speak with authority. The difference is that real confidence does not need to humiliate someone to feel secure. Real confidence often listens without needing to correct every small detail. It asks simple questions without pretending to know everything. It can admit, "I do not know," without feeling humiliated. It celebrates someone else without turning it into a competition. It changes its mind when better information appears. Superiority often interrupts so the conversation returns to the speaker's knowledge. It uses other people's mistakes as proof of the speaker's own intelligence. It makes jokes that leave someone feeling embarrassed. It responds to achievements with comparison instead of interest. It treats disagreement as disrespect or stupidity. Why talented people can feel threatening. If someone's confidence depends on being above others, another person's talent can feel like danger. A confident colleague becomes a rival. A well-spoken friend becomes a threat. A younger person's success becomes an insult. Instead of enjoying the relationship, the person starts scanning for ways to restore the old ranking. This is exhausting for everyone. The other person feels judged, and the person doing the judging never feels secure for long. They have to keep proving their place, protecting their image, and finding new reasons to feel above someone else. Questions that help you check the habit. The goal is not to shame yourself. It is to notice the pattern early enough to choose a better response. These questions can help. Do I interrupt because I want to be useful, or because I want to be seen as the smartest person there? Do I feel uncomfortable when someone else receives praise? Do I secretly enjoy noticing other people's mistakes? Do people become quieter around me after I correct them? Can I let someone else have their moment without adding my own achievement? If one of these questions feels uncomfortable, it may be useful. Discomfort can show you where the habit is trying to protect your ego instead of protecting the relationship. How to replace superiority with stronger communication. A better approach is not to make yourself smaller. It is to stop making other people smaller. You can still be intelligent, skilled, experienced, direct, and professional. The difference is that your communication becomes useful instead of competitive. Try this simple speaking reset. Before you correct, compare, or interrupt, ask yourself, will this help the conversation, or will it only help me feel important? You may also find it useful to read other Spekero articles about turning observations into judgments, being blunt without being rude, and why you can never say the right thing to everyone. Final thoughts. The I'm better than you attitude is usually not real strength. It is often a fragile way of borrowing height from someone else's lowered confidence. It may win attention for a moment, but it slowly teaches people to protect their thoughts, achievements, questions, and feelings from you. The strongest communicators do not need every conversation to end with applause. They make people feel wiser, safer, clearer, and more capable after speaking with them. Genuine confidence is not measured by how many people you stand above. It is measured by how many people can stand taller after talking with you.